answered.
You still on the other call?
You had his number as well. Hey, Paula. Hi. Yes, you did.
We have the computer.
It's today's tree.
I filed his name apparently safely.
Actually, you know, Ann, since you have an extra, I'll take it. I didn't.
Where did you have?
Thank you.
Hello.
That was right through my head when you said that. I thought, I'm not going to date myself and stuff.
Is he on the road or something?
On the road again?
He's out of town.
Maybe our earlier discussion might be moot because it says there are no members that were absent at the last meeting. So
Send him a message.
if I wasn't here.
She also said that the next meeting is November 29th, so.
Okay.
I wonder who was that? Man.
That would be me.
Is the next meeting not November 29th?
It is.
Oh,
But in the minutes for last meeting, I said it was.
Oh, for the, oh.
So we don't need this meeting?
We're not really here. And that's
Do
the
you want
issue.
your state, do you want your state money?
Yes. Okay.
But wait, it says I won't be here till November, so I guess I need to leave.
Oh, really?
It says Sandy Grimes will attend the meeting in November.
See, I was really on the roll.
I'm out of here.
I was in some kind of time warp. when I
Yes,
put
you
these
were.
minutes.
Do you have something against September? What did it ever do to you?
Did you shake the soda last time?
She's so focused on it.
Well, that fizz got to her brain?
I think what happened is the date for the next meeting on the agenda last time was November.
See, that's how
We
it
all
all
thought that-
started.
we all
It
thought the
starts
next
with
one-
one error, and then it propagates.
All right, so I guess we'll just see if Pedro calls back in. Everybody else set?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go ahead and call the firefighter pension board meeting to order. First item is pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item is open forum. Anyone? No? Bueller? I'm dating myself.
That was an excellent reference. I got it.
I got it.
What movie is that?
Bueller?
Okay, first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the July 20 meeting.
So, Madam Chair, I'd just like to point out a few corrections for
Okay.
amendments. One is the board members listed absent should include board member trustee Sandy Grimes. And then she'll be added, her excused absence, to the November meeting agenda. And then also it says that she'll be attending the November meeting, when clearly she is here today. And then the last item is number 15 for adjournment. The next meeting is actually today, not November. So those are the amendments for the minutes.
The one other item, and I don't know if I need a motion first, was the ending balance under the quarterly pension investment report. The beginning and ending are showing the same.
Probably. Which one's wrong?
The ending, it should be,
I shall update that as well.
should be 9,246,000.
What number is this on the? Number
Number
4.
four on the minutes.
4 under the minutes. Thank you, okay.
So the ending balance should be $9,246,091.14.
Okay.
I looked at it, I was like, dang, we did pretty good, we stayed even. Just need a motion to approve as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Next item is our quarterly plan investment from April 1 of 22 to June 30th of 22.
Okay, Jeremy Langley is here from the Florida Municipal Pension Trust Fund to review the quarterly statement.
Yes, unfortunately. But yeah, so as you can see, posted up on the screens, and if you have your packet, the dollar amount. So as was just stated, the beginning balance for the quarter was the 9.2 million, just under 39,000 in contributions that came in. Did see an earnings pullback of 813,000. Paid out 21,000 in distributions, had just under 10,000 expenses. So the ending balance, again, as of June 30th, $8,440,661.21. And then the next couple pages are just the accounting of that. Any questions about dollars or the accounting part before we talk about the investments themselves?
No.
Okay. If you want, I don't know what page it'll be. About 13 pages, roughly, probably for page 13 of the investment report. So, if you want to see the investment numbers themselves, we're almost there. One or two more. There we go. Obviously, with the $830,000 pullback, it was a very, very difficult quarter in the market. So 2 straight, very trying quarters that we've got, which hopefully didn't come as too big of a shock. I mean, if you are somebody who follows the market news at all, you probably were aware of this. I try to find some silver linings. While down 8.8% for the quarter, we did get good protection on the downside from our investment managers. So in a relative sense, and I do stress relative, they did perform well. Your index is down 10.3%. So good performance there. I mean, I always say, the index I don't think is a perfect moniker to compare everything to, but you need something, right, to look at to say, okay, how are we doing? And again, that's what we want. We don't expect when markets are running up like they have the last 12 plus years until we got to this year, we don't expect to necessarily partake in all of the gains. We expect to protect when markets go on the downside, and that's kind of where how our investment strategy works and the way the managers are instructed to work in that manner. So again, we got good performance there. Unfortunately, it is still downside the fiscal year number, down 9.41%. And that's unfortunately, July was not in here. I wish we could have included July. July was a fantastic month. Made a big portion of those negative returns back. The first couple weeks of August were actually fairly, not as good as July, but still moving positively. And then the middle of August struck, and we kind of hit another couple week tailspin leading into September. And what happened there? The market, you probably heard the term soft and hard landing. Maybe some. It seems like over the last couple years with inflation and different things, we're starting to hear these terms that kind of become buzzwords. Lately, it's been the soft landing versus hard landing, and that's in regards to how are we going to come out of all these Fed rate hike increases. Are we going to have the soft landing, which means we don't go into a recession, or the hard landing, which is we're going into a recession? And certainly I don't want to get political, so I guess it depends on who you ask as to whether or not we're in a recession currently.
This is Cindy.
Some people would say yes, some people say no, not
Hey,
quite
Pedro.
yet.
Okay, yeah, let me put you on speaker.
The difficulty there, again, being is how, how's the Fed going to fight inflation? And really their only tool that they have right now is to use rate hikes to slow inflation. And the reason we got a bounce in July and early August was there was some thought that the Fed was starting kind of maybe a little pleased with where things were headed. Maybe we're going to back off a little bit. And there was a hope for a soft landing. And then Jerome Powell, Fed chair, came out in mid-August and said, inflation is public enemy number one, and we will not stop, and that we will fight it until we've dealt with it. And I think the market said, well, I guess that's that. So it kind of feels like recession, no matter how you define it, seems mostly unavoidable at this part. You never know till it happens, but it doesn't seem very good. The market's reacted. Now, again, the last few days are up some. So, I think we're going to have a winning quarter if we can hang in there for 18 more days. But I don't, fiscal year, it's not going to be, a great number. It's going to be most likely in the negatives. So kind of that, again, that 12-year great run we've been on, it looks like we've finally hit the downside of the downturn in a market cycle. The good news, again, this is part of it. This is not unexpected. We always know this is coming. The question mark is usually just what's going to trigger it, so we don't know when things are going to happen because we don't know what's going to trigger them. We'll get through this downturn. Hopefully it's not near as bad as 08, 09. It doesn't look like it's going to be. You never know, but if you can survive that, odds are we can survive whatever's coming. So the next 12, 24 months, probably at the minimum, we'll be trying. Now, I don't think we're going to see, -5, -10% fiscal year returns. Hopefully that's not the case, but even the quote unquote good years might be 2%, 5%. We're probably not going to be looking at those 7, 8, 10, the year before we were 20% for return. So I think, the outlook is definitely much more muted. Again, taking these numbers into account, if you look all the way out at the 10-year return, the portfolio is still up 7.3%. That's taking this year into account. So still in good position overall. The plan is very healthy. And that's, at the end of the day, that's the most important part, right? Our firefighters going to get that benefit that they're expecting in retirement. And right now we have no reason to say anything other than absolutely they are. This isn't going to affect that. It's just going to, like any downturn, it's probably going to have a little bit of an impact on the contribution rate. There's really no way around that. So, next year when you have your actuarial evaluation done, it's not going to look the same as this year's. So that'll be kind of the trying part for the next couple of years, is that contribution rate will take a little bit of a hit, probably. But so again, that's just kind of a high-level overview. Any specific questions or things you want me to address further?
Anybody have any questions? Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
Hello, Pedro. You can't hear me.
Pedro, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Barely.
I was just saying hello.
Hello? Is this better?
Can you hear?
I
Hello?
can, yeah.
Can you
Okay,
hear me?
that's better.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the quarterly fiscal year-end administrative budget.
All right, we do have a typo on this report. This is our budget to actual for the administrative budget. And actually, it should be current year to date expense, June 30th, 22. And it says through March 31st. That's incorrect. The numbers are correct, though.
Okay.
Okay. You can see we paid a lot of the expenses. Some of them are still going to be coming through. They're going to be reflected on the next statement. Year to date, we have administrator expenses, $9,606. The legal fees, $12,731 year to date. And then we have some travel and education expenses of $167. At the last meeting, we did approve a number of invoices, including the audit fees, evaluation. Those were all paid in the July. So you'll see those reflected on the July statement. And then a couple other expenses were paid in August. So by the time we get to the next meeting with the September 30th statements, you'll see all of the expenses paid and reflected. Okay, otherwise, this is looking, it's on track. I don't foresee any problems meeting the budget for the fiscal year.
Any questions on that? Thank you. And then, so the next item is the budget, the administrative budget report for fiscal year 22-23. Is that the proposed?
Yeah, this is our proposed budget, and this is a statutory requirement. This is our administrative budget for the next fiscal year, starting 10/1 and then going through September 30th, 23. We have increased some of the expenses, and that is basically just to give us some room. You know, if there's any additional expenses come through, we want to make sure we have funding for those, and we don't end up with a budget problem. The actuary, we did increase that a little bit, just in case the board elects to have some additional analysis performed once we get to that point with the evaluation report. The plan administration fees, we did increase that a little bit, just to have a little bit of extra room there. You know, hopefully the plan will continue to grow. And the audit fees, we did reduce that slightly, and that is because the board elected to not have the standalone report. It will be included with the city's annual comprehensive financial report, so the plan will incur a lower expense. The legal, we just increased that a little bit to give us some room for travel fees. Other plan expenses remain the same, and the total budget, proposed budget for fiscal year 23 will be $66,000 for the administrative fees.
So I just have a question. The attorney legal fees that's being increased, but you said it's for travel? Why would
Yeah,
that
the
mean?
contract, if Pedro or one of the other attorneys shows up at the meeting, the contract does allow for travel fees, and we will be invoiced for that. We have been.
I just need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Any discussion or questions about the proposed budget? All in favor of adopting the proposed fiscal year budget for 22-23, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Next item is considering ordering the annual valuation for 10/1/22.
Okay. We, as you know, we're coming up on the end of our fiscal year. September 30th, we'll be here in just a couple weeks. We would like to get ahead of the curve and get the order for the valuation report in as soon as we can after the close of the fiscal year. That kind of gets us in line to get our report hopefully sooner. And the proposed fee is a not to exceed $6,000 based on the reports that the city has prepared. That, you know, for different things, that does seem to be a reasonable fee. The board does have the option to go out for an RFP, but again, I see that fee as being reasonable, and Chuck Carr from Southern Actuarial Services has always provided a good report to us, and we do not have any issues with it. It's coordinated through the FMPTF, so we do have some economies of scale that are realized through, you know, using this firm. Jeremy, did you have anything to add?
I don't. I was just double checking the fee from this year to make sure that, because I actually just saw in the last week or two a letter from Chuck's office saying that they were not increasing fees for next year.
Okay.
So I was just looking up to see what last year's was, because it should be the same. The only way it would change at this point is if there were more participants in there than there had been, because that's his work. The number of participants in a plan determines how long it takes to do these reports. So everything's tiered, his costs are tiered based upon. So the only way that would change then is if you all had a bunch more participants year over last. Other than that, it should be, looks like, according to what you just approved a couple items back, $4,575. So it should be about the same.
Right.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the actuarial evaluation with a cost not to exceed $6,000.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Approved, thank you. Next item is our premium tax distribution.
Okay, this agenda item is for the board's information. No action is required. This is the premium tax distribution that we received from the state of Florida, and it's a tax on insurance policies. We use this money to offset the city's contribution to the pension, the pension plan. And if you look at the backup documentation, it does indicate that the first distribution is $79,645.08, which is what we received. There's also a secondary distribution listed, a supplemental distribution. However, we usually do not receive that. If we do, we receive a very small amount, and that's due to the plan expenses and the fund expenses and other things coming out of there from the state of Florida. So that's why we don't really expect to receive much, if anything, for the supplementary distribution. If we do receive something, it'll come in October.
We have not seen any supplemental checks for several years now. We've been, without putting it in writing, they've kind of alluded to that's probably a thing of the past. But the first check has theoretically been a little higher as a result, but the supplemental, yeah, probably won't return again.
Any questions or discussion? So my only question was that it was addressed to our previous mayor.
We have contacted the state and let them know that they need to change that.
I noticed it too, but I didn't want to say anything.
I figured it was just okay, thank you. And next item is presentation of the annual report for 2021.
Okay. Every year, the plan administrator needs to submit a report to the state of Florida, and that is all of the plan's activity and includes a lot of information about the plan, a lot of good information. In here, it also has a list of board members and information about the collective bargaining agreement, as well as any other third parties that are involved, such as the actuary and the plan administrator. There's also all the financial information is in here, including the plan's holdings and investments as of 9/30. This is at 9/30/21. And all of these numbers do tie out to the financial statements that were presented at the last meeting. So the report was returned as approved from the state. So this is presented as a courtesy or information for the board, just to let you know that all the requirements of the plan have been met. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you. Next is our attorney update.
Pedro, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Hello? Oh,
Yep.
okay. Yes, hi, sorry, good afternoon. First, thank you for accommodating me and having me attend by phone. I appreciate it. I just wanted nothing really to report on, just more housekeeping items. First, I did want to hopefully everybody did get their financial disclosure forms filed, those Form 1s that are due every year by July 1st. If you have not already filed that, maybe we can have a conversation offline and see what the best way to do that would be. But just wanted to put that, if anybody still has that, if we can maybe talk offline and we'll figure out the best approach. Also, I did want to update you. There has been a bill filed federally that would seek to allow first responders, police officers, firefighters, the ability to enroll in Medicare at age 50, which as opposed to age 64, which is what the current law provides for. And then obviously, as you guys are aware, one of the biggest issues with police and firefighters is that while they do get to retire sooner than the layperson, they're challenged with trying to find retirement and Medicare eligibility. So we'll keep you posted, but that would be, I'm sure that would be a nice relief for many people to be able to get something like that. And then just some educational opportunities coming up for the board. The FPPTA and the state, the Division of Retirement, are both having their schools coming up. September 26th through the 29th in Orlando is the state school, and then October 2nd through the 5th is the FPPTA, also in Orlando. So if anybody has the interest and obviously the opportunity, I think those might be some good ones to attend. And then really that's it. That's all I had for our report.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So do you have anything else you want to bring up before we adjourn?
Nope.
Okay. Just need a motion to adjourn?
Already? Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.